Hello and welcome back. I am so glad you could join me today. Is that Bob Ross's line? I hope that's not Bob Ross's line. Either way, I am very glad you can be here. As usual, for the time being, for the next few months probably, pre-recorded episodes still streaming live. Hello to everyone watching. Hi, Mom. This is the first episode in February, which means this is the first new block of filming I'm doing. So, now that I've wasted about, what do you think, the first minute? Remember to like, share, and subscribe. It goes a long way. If you want to support the channel, there are links to do so in the description. If this is your first time, hello! Odd place to pick up in the story, but I'm so glad you're here. And, first off, also, thank you to my patrons, Avalon Link and Lizzie. Lizzie, I know you're probably in the chat right now, so hello. If you want to join them, there's a link to do so in the description. And now that I've got that out of the way, I think we're going to jump right back in to Legend of Luke, Chapter 4. A mess of bird bones and feathers, mixed with squashed, half-eaten fruit and vegetables, littered the Flitch-Eye camp. Around the fire, undersized weasels squabbled and fought, tooth and claw, over any morsel of food roasting in the flames. One, larger than the rest, his face daubed blue beneath a helmet of ivory and bugloss, grabbed a half-burnt wren carcass from a smaller Flitch-Eye. Snarling, the owner tried to retrieve his food from the big weasel, who booted him backwards into the fire contemptuously. It was an act of wanton cruelty that caused great hilarity among the other vermin, who sniggered evilly as their scorched companion scrambled shrieking from the blaze and rolled about, trying to extinguish his smoldering fur. The young squirrel, who was little more than a dibbin, was trying to shake off the effects of the drugged smoke. He shrank back fearfully against the post he was bound to, as Flitch-Eye with sharp sticks prodded him and licked their lips meaningfully. One weasel took out a blade and was about to start cutting the squirrel's bond when the big Flitch-Eye spotted him and knocked him senseless with a well-aimed kick. He stood over the fallen weasel, baring his stained fangs at the rest and speaking in his high-pitched growl.
"Nor yet, feed the swiggle fat, plenty."
He thrust the remains of the dead bird at the helpless youngster, snarling into the squirrel's terrified face.
"You eat? Come on now, eat it all up."
Martin strode nonchalantly into the camp, as if he was quite used to this sort of thing. A puzzled silence settled over the Flitch-Eye at the sight of the bold, unarmed stranger in their midst. Pushing them out of the way, he went across to the two earthenware pots, still wreathing smoke from the drugged herbs smoldering inside them. Leaning over, Martin appeared to sniff them both and gave a hard, scornful laugh. "Ha! Don't think much of your cooking, ragbags!" A gasp of surprise rose from the vermin. The stranger had suffered no ill effect from the fearful fumes. Still shouldering weasels aside, Martin pushed his way forcefully over to the prisoner. Picking up the knife from the fallen weasel, he made as if to cut the squirrel free.
"Stop him, that mouse beast!"
At the shout from their leader, the Flitch-Eye surrounded Martin, hemming him in on all sides. Swaggering forward, the big weasel thrust his ugly face close to that of Martin and sneered.
"We the Flitch-Eye! Flitch-Eye! Flitch-Eye!"
The crowd took up the chant, moving around the warrior in a shuffling, stamping dance. Martin waited patiently a while, an expression of bored indifference on his face. Then he pointed a paw at his own chest and shouted, "I'm Martin the warrior!" Quiet fell over the vermin as they stood still. Their leader pointed a stone-headed axe at the lone mouse, repeating Martin's words as best he could.
"Martin the warrior!"
He spat challengingly at the floor in front of the warrior. Martin coolly returned the gesture, looking the weasel up and down insultingly as he spoke. "Fish-Eye? You the Fish-Eye?" The warrior had anticipated the Flitch-Eye's leader's next move, and he took a pace smartly backward as the weasel swung his axe. The blow was delivered with such force that the Flitch-Eye could not stop it. He struck himself hard on the shin, cracking his bone audibly. Martin stretched both paws wide. Keeping his eyes on the double-topped oak at the camp's edge, he roared, "Red Wall!" Hidden by the foliage, Gonf held the sword like a spear and cast it accurately. To the Flitch-eye, it was magic. Seemingly zipping down out of the sky, the great blade thudded point first into the ground at Martin's side. Wrenching it from the earth, Martin the warrior swung it skillfully, chopping a nearby vermin's bunch of throwing spears in half with a single swipe. It had the desired effect. Flitch-eye scattered to get out of Martin's sword range, leaving him alone by the prisoner. Turning his back on the enemy, Martin gave the little squirrel a quick, reassuring smile and whispered, "Don't move till I say, matey. Soon I'll be out of there." The captive blinked with fright as Martin's sword hissed within a whisker of him, severing the ropes. Whirring bright in the late afternoon sunlight, the sword weaved a deadly pattern as its owner wielded it. Martin narrowed his eyes into a fierce intensity, glaring slowly this way and that at the vermin. "I, Martin the warrior. We go now." Gently lifting the dazed little squirrel onto his shoulders, he turned and began walking from the camp. The leader, his face a mask of agony, limped forward, shouting, "Stop her! Stop her, mouse beast! Stop!" His cry was cut short when a sling stone smashed his jaw and laid him flat. A female, obviously the leader's mate, dashed forward, but she too was felled by a sling stone which whacked her between the eyes. She fell like a log. Martin muttered out of the side of his mouth to the little one, "Good old Dinny, never known him to miss yet." Then he stood sternly to the cowering Flitch-eye. "I go, you stay. Fish-eye, ha!" At a nod from him, the sling stones poured in from Gonf, Dinny, and Trimp, causing confusion among the Flitch-eye. Back among the shelter of some big trees, Martin passed his sword to Gonf. "Good work, mates. But if I know Flitch-eye, they won't stay still for long. We've got to get out of here. Fast!" Trimp had time to spit and blow, ridding herself of the hated ransoms, when she was running paw in paw with Dinny, Martin leading and Gonf behind her, guarding the rear. Trees and bushes sped by in a green blur as the rescuers hurtled through the woodlands, with the first streaks of evening marking the sky. Breathless and quivering, they paused at a wide, shallow stream. Trimp stooped and sucked up mouthfuls gratefully. Gonf struck her on the back, causing her to cough out the water. "Don't drink now, matey. It'll slow you up. Martin, listen."
Flitch-eye! Flitch-eye!
The blood-curdling shouts of vermin crying for revenge rang out through the trees. Tapping the back of Martin's head, the little squirrel, who now seemed completely recovered from the evil smoke, spoke for the first time.
"Chugger not want to get eaten! Quick, run!"
And run they did. Martin chose the stream bed to make tracking difficult, though it slowed their pace slightly. Pebbles clacked under paw, water splashed noisily around the runners, and sometimes trailing crawfoot weeds tried to tangle them up. Gonf turned the sound of rapidly advancing vermin. The Flitch-eye dashed screaming into the waters upstream.
"Flitch-eye! Flitch-eye!"
The mouse thief held a stone ready in his sling. "They've seen us, mates. I'll say this for the rascals. They're good fast runners. Should we make for the bank and head to the woods, Martin?" Martin pressed on doggedly, with Chugger clinging to his back. "No good, mate. They track wet paw prints easily. This water's getting deeper and they can only travel the same speed as us in a stream. Keep going." Further downstream, the watercourse took a bend, getting deeper. It was now well above waist height and flowing fast. Dinny grunted to Trimp, "I don't like water, and I'm girtly afeard of wet." The Flitch-eye, who were still in the shallower water, seemed to be gaining pace on their quarry. Gonf turned and brought one of the front runners down with a well-placed sling stone, then reloaded his sling immediately. "They're too close for comfort now, mates. I reckon we'll have to stand and find it out."
"Grr, no, us won't. Look it, we'm be saved."
In the curve of the stream bend, a big old cracked willow which had collapsed into the water from the crumbling bank lay half in, half out of the water, swaying gently. Tripping and stumbling wildly, Dinny and Trimp waded through the eddying swirls, coughing and gasping. The food packs they were carrying hampered them greatly. However, they made it to the tree and hauled themselves onto its bushy top. Their added weight did the trick. There was a tearing of the last few roots as the willow upended and slid into the stream. Martin and Gonf were both slinging stones now, dodging the long, thin throwing spears which the Flitch-eye flung at them. The little squirrel Chugger clung to Martin's back, yelling hoarsely,
"Throw lots of stones! Don't let Fish-eye catch Chugger!"
The warrior looked to Gonf for his sword. It was evidence that ere long the battle would be paw to paw with the vermin in a life-or-death struggle.
Hurry and jump on boat now, mates."
Dinny and Trimp had paddled the tree close up behind them, using long leafy branches they had broken from the willow. Martin pushed Gonf onto the makeshift vessel and was about to pull himself aboard when a snarling Flitch-eye grabbed his paw. For a moment the warrior was helpless, clinging with one paw to the tree whilst being held by the vermin. Chugger scrambled up to Martin's shoulder. Leaning over, he bit deep into the vermin's paw. An agonized scream ripped from the weasel's mouth as he let go of Martin's paw. Without a backward glance, Martin heaved both himself and Chugger onto the willow trunk. Trimp, look after the little one. Gonf, you and I'll paddle. Dinny, get your sling and have those scum feeling what for. Trimp felt the current pull strongly at the tree, and they were whipped away downstream, with Martin and Gonf paddling non-stop. Wedging little Chugger into the sprouting branches up front, she went to assist Dinny. The mole was roaring guffly as he whirled his sling and flung rocks with deadly accuracy.
Go, Burrow, he'll give ye below, you child-eating villains. You'll be girt supper of stones free.
So fierce were the volleys of rock and round pebble with which Dinny and Trimp peppered the Flitch-eye that the vermin waded for the banks, unable to keep balance and throw their spears in the deepening water. Martin chanced a backward glance at their mole friend and winked at Gonf. Look at old Din there, sling it away like a good un. Watching admiringly, the mouse thief saw one of Dinny's rocks take a Flitch-eye squarely between both ears, toppling him from the bank into the water. Aye, matey, the mole's enjoying himself all right. Dusk fell while the travelers made their way downstream. Still harassed by Flitch-eye foes running along both sides of the bank, Martin peered ahead into the darkness and bit his lip grimly at what he saw. Bad luck for us ahead. The stream is dammed across. Trimp gave a cry of dismay. Look! Some Flitch-eye must have run ahead. I could see the shapes of them, waiting with the dam on top of us. Sure enough, there were several creatures moving about the dam, shrouded by the enclosing gloom. Dinny groaned,
Us be in real trouble now.
A hearty voice, quite unlike the Flitch-eye, rang out from the dam as the shadowy shapes dashed back and forth.
Whoop-er-you, cullies! I see Flitch-eyes! Whoop-er-you!
Gonf began jumping up and down with joy. Cupping both hands around his mouth, he yelled to the creature on the dam. Garraway Bullo, ye old dog swamper! It's me, the mouse thief! A figure hurled itself from the dam top, cut the water neatly, and came swimming at them with the speed of an attacking pike. Chugger nearly fell from his perch with surprise as a large, powerful otter bounded onto the willow as if she had been propelled from the water on a giant spring. Gonf threw himself upon the otter and wrestled her for the length of the trunk, both of them laughing and shouting. Well, frazzle a frog, you old majesty! Good to see you! Gunfo, me old tater cake! You got a belly on you like a poisoned plant house. What brings you to my neck of the country, cully? We didn't want to come, except that there's more than 2 score Flitch-eye trying to slay and eat us, mate. Garraway Bullo tossed Gonf aside like a leaf and jumped up. She looked Martin up and down, shaking his paw firmly. Struth, I wager you'd account for a few vermin before they brought ye down. With a sword like that. No matter, cully, you leave the filthy Flitch-eye to my fighters. Placing a paw to her mouth, she gave a loud, ear-splitting whistle, then called to the otters on the dam. Whoop-er-you, 'tis Flitch-eyes, all right. Go and get 'em before they run off. Not like a Flitch-eye hide to make cloaks for our little uns, and winter's only 2 seasons off. Otters materialized from everywhere, big warlike beasts, tattooed from ear to tail and armed with double-tipped javelins. Whooping and bellowing, they took off after the weasels, who turned and fled in terror. The tree nosed gently into the dam as Gonf was making introductions. There's Dinny Formo, the pretty og-maid's called Trimp, and the serious-looking sword-carrier, who ain't nearly so pretty as me, is Martin the Warrior. Aye, matey. Friends, I want you to meet Garraway Bullo, queen of all the northern Otter River tribes. Garraway helped them onto the dam. Then she hauled the willow in sideways and lashed it to the timber and mud structure, remarking, No sense in wasting good wood. 'Twill strengthen our dam. Come on, Gonf, and bring your mateys too. Seeing as you ain't been ate by Flitch-eyes, you must be hungry, right? Gonf laughed impudently at the Otter Queen. Do you ever recall a day when I wasn't hungry? I could eat a boiled otter right now, but I ain't got the time to cook ye, burly Bullo. Lead us to the victuals. Where you think?
Oh. Oi, what do you think? I'm a little flower growing on this tree. Whereabouts
Chugger! I remember. Trimp rescued the tiny squirrel from the branches where he had been taking a short nap. He waved at Caraway Bullow.
Lo, my name be Chugger. I'm hungry too.
The Otter Queen swung him up on her brawny shoulder. You ain't back'ard in coming forward, are you, Master Chug? Well, I reckon you don't eat much, so we'll find a smidgen of victuals for you. Though I don't know rightly where you're from, or if an oil victuals will suit you, matey. How'd you get caught by the flitch eye? The little fellow shrugged.
I live in the woods with Granny. One day she go to sleep. Chugger shake and shake Granny, but she don't wake up. So on me own, till fish eye catch me. But Martin, Trimp, and Gunfo be Chugger's friends now. You be my friend too?
Caraway Bullow wiped something from her eye with the back of a paw. I'd like to meet the beast who says I ain't your friend, Chugger mate. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and again, I am so glad you could join me. We will pick up next week with the next chapter. In the meantime, the usual, like, share, subscribe. Thank you again to my subscribers, Avalon Link and Lizzie. You guys are amazing. If you want to join, there is a link to my Patreon in the description. Excuse me. I will see you guys next week. I hope you have a good time. Fun fact, by the time this airs, I will have just gotten the second dose of the vaccine. So please, if you are able to, get it. Please, we all got to do a little bit to take care of this so that we can all go out and do the things we want to do. So in the meantime, I'll see you next week. Be safe, wash your hands. I hope you're well, and we'll see you then.